Good morning, Quasar Markets Live, and happy Merry Christmas Eve to everybody. Hope everyone's having a good start of your day. I see my volume a little low here. Let me get that adjusted quickly. Hold it 1 second here. Okay, let's see if that's a little better. Does look that. Okay, well, good morning to everybody. Hope you're having a good start to your Christmas Eve holiday. Today is a short trading day. The markets will be closing at 1 o'clock. So far, Bitcoin making a nice move up here since about 8 a.m. Started to catch wind, but hey, it had been hanging out in that 93, 94 area in a pretty tight little range here, quite frankly, since about 6 o'clock on Monday. So we had seen it in a tight range, finally broke out here in the 8 o'clock hour. We'll see if we can continue to get a blow off here. It does look like the first sort of resistance, which is here at that 96 level, as you can see, where we had sort of maxed out, unable to get across here on Sunday or yesterday, again, is what knocked us down. So that has us where we're at here. Let me do one thing here before I forget. Sorry, I just want to pull up the feed, so if anyone asks me any questions or anything, I see them. There we go. Okay. Um, so Bitcoin holding up pretty well. We will look a little bit into news on crypto and Bitcoin this morning, give you some things. I will say Solana, as I mentioned yesterday, I liked as a buyback or playback when it was at 180. It has moved its way up to 194.53 already. So a nice little pop up here over the last 24 hours. You can see bottomed out here yesterday a few times in that 177 area. So Solana one, I do sort of like here, maybe a little bit of a retracement here today. See what happens. See if we get a little pop off of it there on Solana. So we will keep an eye on that. When it comes to the indices, we do see QQQ slightly up this morning, about 3/8 of a tenth. We did just sort of grind our way up most of yesterday. It wasn't a huge move up. If we look at yesterday around 10 a.m. when we left, we were trading somewhere around 518, 519. And it just sort of did a slow little grind up. So question is, do we see that today on lower volumes? Wouldn't surprise me. Again, we should see fairly light volumes overall today getting into the holiday. Gold has regained 2,600. So it did finally do that yesterday. And again, overnight dropped back down below 26, but has regained it. Silver unable so far to get back above the 30 handle, although again, another one since 8 a.m. is seeing a little bit of a move up. What else? Nat gas at 372. So 372, those of you that were listening to Big Beat at $3 are very happy right now. Again, we see the SPY right now up about 0.2 of a percentage point, and again another one that just sort of slow grinded up yesterday. Not going to complain with it. The Nasdaq 100 up over a point, and then the QQQ up 0.8, SPY up 0.6. Not bad. We'll say oil, we do see gas back above the 70. Saw an article today sort of talked about, oil traders are trying to weigh the weakening demand that we see here. Well, not here in the U.S., but weakening demand overall for oil, especially out of China, and also versus whether or not OPEC will start to release more oil. So we'll see what happens there. A lot of talk on CNBC today about treasuries. It is one thing I definitely will hit Big Beat up and ask him when I talk to him is, how long does he expect to see the rates this high? We broke through the 4.8 on the 30-year here again. So, 4.81, 52-week high was 4.84. So one of the Steves there on CNBC talking about it going up towards 4.9. And the question is if if we see bonds and treasury yields continue to rise, does that give more headwinds um, for stocks? You know, it has to be one of the questions you ask. So, one of the ones that I definitely would want to know a little bit more about. DXY still was pegged pretty firmly above 108, still is 108.15. And again, we heard from the man himself, Steve Flanagan, you could see this move to the upside still. Don't be surprised to see more strength in the dollar. Don't think that this is the top. So, and he doesn't. So we'll be keeping an eye there on that. Overseas, we do see the stocks continuing to get a little bit of a rise here this week. So second day where we see the stocks 600, which is basically their S&P 500, with a little bit of a gain. We look over at the SSE, which is the Shanghai Composite, up about 1.26%, and the Nikkei Japanese 225 down slightly, about almost 0.3%. If we look at sectors, so far sectors are looking pretty positive so far this morning. The difference being XLB, which is the material sector, and XLC, which is the services. So services, we know inflation's been pretty high, and then manufacturing, materials, both a little bit negative. Most of the others here in the green as we get ready to open in about 20 minutes here. Tick is slightly negative, slightly positive at about 100 right now. So we are slightly positive on the tick. Advanced decline. If we look at NASDAQ, currently negative at minus 242, but advanced decline overall on American stocks plus 1200. So pretty promising there. Did see volatility drop down yesterday pretty nicely here. You know, Friday we were up in the 25 levels, back down at 16.79 here. So again, those of you that have been listening to Big Beat and Scott Bauer from Prosper Trading know that you buy VIX when you don't need it as insurance. You don't buy it when you do need it because it's too late. You see that pump up and the pump back down all in a 2 or 3 day period. That's how it works. So Mag 7, everything except for Microsoft so far slated to open in the green. Apple just slightly open. You know, Tesla just on fire still, 430 now. Looking to open up at about 437 here. So see if that stops. It has had a 4-day retracement here. So it'll be interesting to see, does Tesla start to make another move to the upside here. Meta's been the one that just sort of languishing, but looks like it wants to make its next move here. It did use the 50-day MA as some support. Netflix all over the news today. They do have their first live football games, NFL games, on tomorrow during Christmas. Will be interesting to see how that goes. Huge talk about that is the future. That's why people, Big Beat, we know, has called for 1,000 on Netflix. Did look like it wanted to make it before the end of the year. No longer does look like that. But again, this was his prediction for next year. And so we see Netflix at 9/11 here. Live video being the big thing. And it was interesting, too, because not only is it a big bet for Netflix and the streaming services, but it's also a big bet by the NFL, who is looking to try to become more of a worldwide brand and feels that the streaming services that have a good leg in, the international markets would be able to give them some, tailwinds there and help them along by having the viewership already in place in countries overseas. So, interesting to hear it from, sort of both sides there. So, Amazon 225. A lot of the Mag 7 is similar look here, quite honestly. They all sort of made either all new time highs or 52-week highs back, December 17th or so, and most have pulled back. We do see the discrepancy is, Google getting a little bit of a head start on the others back towards that all-time high. Apple has grinded to that all-time high and continuing to move up here. But NVIDIA, Google, and some of the others have pulled back. did have some of the stocks that are moving a little bit here this morning. Oh, I'm reading that wrong. That's why. Want to look at U.S. Steel here. It's only down about a quarter of a point. That's the problem with all this. I start doing this stuff too early, and now things either move back. You can see this thing was down at about $30.19 earlier this morning as I was looking at the winners and losers. Let's just cheat and do this the easy way. Use my screener to do it, because I already have a screener that I just pull that off of. So if we're looking this morning at either the NASDAQ 100 or the S&P 500, biggest gainers, MicroStrategy, with the move up by Bitcoin, seeing a nice little move up here this morning. MicroStrategy now up 3.5% this morning. Again, this has been a stock, though, that's been under pressure since making that move over 500. Has severely retraced. Almost, looks like one that could fill that gap. They say everything eventually fills that gap, right? Does MicroStrategy get under more pressure? Will mention they did make another purchase, and I was going to talk a little bit more about MicroStrategy's plan. I saw a decent article here in Crypto Slate, one of the crypto-based newsletters, talking about MicroStrategy's proxy statement, preliminary proxy that they issued with the SEC, that does a little bit more to explain that 42 billion, which, as we know, is 21 billion twice, and it is that 21 billion because 21 billion is the amount of Bitcoin that will ever be available, although not really, because it's not exactly 21 million. So it talked a little bit about how they're planning on doing that. Interesting stuff. It gets pretty into the depth of things, but, in general, the things that I saw that were interesting is that they do want to increase the amount of shares from 330 million to 10.33 billion in this proxy. And that they also want to have a meeting for the efforts to raise 21 billion in equity and 21 billion through fixed income instruments, and put that money again towards the Bitcoin treasury. So, he keeps doubling down and doing it. He also is looking to expand the preferred stock from 5 million to 1 billion, intended to strengthen MicroStrategy's capacity for future initiatives. So this type of filing, I would think, would have put more pressure, quite frankly, on the stock, not less. Hey, Ron, how you doing today, buddy? Hope all is well. Hope you are ready for your Christmas holiday. So it'll be interesting, but he just continues to buy, and he bought more Bitcoin again yesterday. So Michael Saylor, not scared at all by the Bitcoin price. He's going to continue to buy, continue to buy, continue to buy. And the fact that there's still 42 billion that he's looking to do over the next 21 months still leaves me very bullish for Bitcoin overall. Some of the other movers here this morning. Broadcom's actually having a nice little morning again here, up another 3.61%. So over the last 2 days, Broadcom another 10% up. It's an interesting spot, but it looks like it does want to challenge its, all-time high at 250, if you ask me. So Broadcom, I'm not one that likes to chase, as you guys all know, at these levels, but you can't argue with the fact that it continues to move up. Prudential, sort of surprised to see that one in there. It shouldn't be. I don't know why that showed up on the screen. We are seeing again. We've talked about this one a few times. SEALSQ Corp, Seals Corp, which is LAES as their symbol, up another 28% in the pre-market here, 628. We've been watching this one pretty closely here. So another move up. It closed at 490 yesterday, back up towards that 690. I will say though, you got to worry about that 690, 670 level. Excuse me, 690 level here as its resistance. So one to keep an eye on, but continues to move up. Doesn't look like, it looks like we're seeing a little bit of a pullback on the other quantum names we talked about yesterday. QUBT down about 1.32%. Rigetti down slightly here today. See if anything else catches my eye here. Not really. MX, you got it, buddy. So they're a semi company. Blow up the daily chart first. Right towards their historic low. $350, where it hit here was its historic low. It's got a decent, Risk reward looks pretty good, Ron. Chart doesn't look too bad. Let's look at this hourly. What kind of volume does it do? So this morning it's already seeing twice the volume that you normally see. So it does look like it could be prime. This could be a pumper on. That's a good find. Good find there, Ron. Don't know if you're still around. But this MX, this is actually interesting. If you see volume come in this morning, and you can see the volume spike in the last hour yesterday. Doesn't look like it trades after hours. Oh, it does. It's up another quarter of a point. I don't know why it's not showing it. Should. Where's my settings? Huh. Yeah. Should be showing. Shows on everything else. Yeah, that's weird. But that looks like a good catch, buddy. That looks like a good catch. MX, interesting. Might be one you make a little play on and play for the pop. I think it's a little tough is that you don't have 462 would be your first profit I would look at here. 462. And then you're at that 504 area. $4 looks like it might give it a. You might want to wait, let it break $4. And then you got a pretty good shot on it. That's not a bad one, Ron. I like that. I'm putting that on my list here. We are 7 minutes away from the open here. Been a fairly slow news day. Not a ton going on that I was really looking at. There's no earnings, there's no economic data. Um, like I said, talk was, Treasury's 7-month high here. Um, and the expectation is that, that's going to stay in that range. So I don't know. I think we're gonna, like I said, I think we see a slow melt up here today. I don't think we see a whole bunch of volatility. We'll see. Bitcoin could give us some volatility here, trying to break back up 96.5 here. If it can get back above this 97 or so, it gives us a good shot to make a nice little move. I was targeting here. If we can get above 97,870 or so, could see a decent move. No, I just gave the wrong number. 96,770. Could see a nice move to the upside from there. Got a few halts, but the ones right now are T3s. Those are a little bit of a different. Those aren't stop further on the way up type things. $96,528. So it is trying to pop here. I wonder if let's see how we're set up for liquidations. Could be a good day. Maybe we get some liquidations that step in, push us back up towards that 100K mark here. Let's see what we got. Let's see, 24 hours if we look at liquidations. $250 million, so we are seeing them, and that yesterday was split, right? Almost 50-50. A little bit more shorts got hurt than longs. But you can see how it's calmed down liquidations. It started to calm down again a little bit. If we take a look at the liquidation map here. Looks like right now there's more room for an upside push here towards 98,821 if we could. Hey Zora, how are you doing? If we start to see a move up here, liquidations could push us up there on that to about 98 and change. Again, though, open interest about 118 billion, so it's still down significantly from where we were here a few days ago. So the good news is some of the leverage coming off here as we get into the holidays. So maybe we just get our grind up, getting close to that resistance spot I talked about here on Bitcoin. So let's see what it does when it approaches 96,750 or so. Right now, tick pretty neutral here, right around 50. And again, we see advanced decline nicely up around 1369. Mag 7 is. Now we see Apple's gone negative along with Microsoft. Rest of them leading. Tesla and chips seem to be leading the way. Tesla up 1.48. Not a whole bunch else here that I'm really looking at this morning. Very subdued day, as we get into the holidays. I'm glad to hear that, Zuri. You all ready for your Christmas, I hope? Oh, on the other news, we do have to talk about obviously American Airlines. I didn't look how it's affecting the stock. American Airlines today had to ground a bunch of planes overnight. Not something you want to see if you're traveling for the holidays. Um, but they said that they grounded flights nationwide yesterday or this morning due to technical issues. Excuse me, sorry, snarling travel during what carriers expect to be a period of record demand for the holidays. So, God, I can only imagine what those airports are like. Luckily, I am not traveling. So, there, and we do see the stocks down about 1.51%. American did issue a statement and said that it was a problem with a platform provided by a third party. And we know that Delta and everybody went after CrowdStrike tremendously when they had the problem last time. So I'm sure it will leak out pretty quickly today what that is. Second part of the news that I thought was interesting to come out in what is sort of a slow news week is that the big banks are getting ready and as early as today could file a lawsuit against the Federal Reserve and what is called their yearly stress test. And it's being led by the Bank Policy Institute, which is basically a lobbyist group in D.C. that represents the biggest banks, especially J.P. Morgan, Citigroup, and Goldman Sachs. And the groups feel that the Fed's way of dealing with them has not been in the up and up, and it's very opaque. There's no transparency that explains what happens. And we've seen this talked about when it comes to crypto companies and dealing with the Federal Reserve and some of these agencies, the FDIC and others. So where sometimes I would just be like, this is just big banks trying to make money. I've seen the sort of bureaucracy that comes in DC out of some of these agencies, and I think it's a little bit of both sides. I think the banks want a little bit more leeway. They feel they've been good citizens now since 2000. We are open. Let's see what we get here. They've been good citizens since 2008 and deserve the benefit of the doubt, where we know that they don't always have it. First tick is negative 285, so first ticks to the downside here. Let's see what's selling off here. QQQ actually holding up and going to the upside so far. All three indices opened up positive. Dow is flat here now. Looks like it's going to go negative. Tick is negative 275. Bitcoin's first move here was a quick move down, but it quickly got rebought back towards the high of the day, and it's right at that 96,785 area I said to watch out for. We are seeing a nice little move. QQQ up 0.3, but losing a little bit of momentum here. Come on, let's get some nice little easy money here. Let's see us grind up today. Amazon now up 0.7 of a percentage point. We are seeing some of the chips led here. AMD up almost 0.8 of a percentage. Let me pull up my chip. Nvidia up, TSM down, AVGO a big winner so far this morning, up another 2.35%. AMD to the upside about 0.8 of a percent. TXN up 0.5 point. Qualcomm, AMAT starting to go negative. ARM up 3/8 of a tenth. So a little bit of momentum here. See Marvell up 1.24%. So again, chip manufacturers seem to be catching a little bit. Yeah, it's tough when you're not. I'm sure, especially Arizona is a little different there, a little warmer. You'll make the best of it, Zora. I know you will. It is tough when you have the holidays in a new place. I'm still trying to get used to having it here in Ohio myself. I'm with you. Let's see what's going on with the dollar here this morning. DXY holding up above 108, so holding up there right above 108 so far. Gold holding up above 2,600. Bitcoin right back at the high of the day here. So Bitcoin trying to run. Let's get a little bit of a run here, Bitcoin. Here you go. Trying to run here. Again, we just broke through that resistance. Could get a nice little run up towards 98 here. So if it gets that run to 98, we could start to see some liquidation, and maybe we do eke out back up over 100K here getting into Christmas. We do see some of the early winners so far. NEUP up almost 200% here. That's a weird one. It must have launched today. I don't know what that one's. That's not showing right. Let's look at CREV. If I don't put the E in, it's not going to help. There we go. Here we go. This is Carbon Revolution Public Limited Company. They look like they want to be a pumper here, although moving in the wrong direction. Let's see what it does here at VWAP. This one's interesting. It's traded as high as 1272 this morning right now, right around 1140. Seeing a couple of halts here also. Let's take a look at AVGR. That one rejected off of VWAP and halted to the downside, so that one's probably not going to be something in play here. Take a look. Another one of our favorite pumpers here, JTAI, which is Jet AI, pumping up here today. This one looks interesting, 834. Got room right back up to that $10 level. This is one I know Charlie always loves. Let's take a look at this on the hourly chart a little bit here. Try to find some levels. You can see that 1024 has been the spot on these pumps that it stopped since it dumped down here back in mid-November. So you could definitely play this for a pump back up there. This is an interesting one. JTAI, Jet AI. And they actually do have news pushing this. It says Jet AI launched AVA agentic AI model for private jet bookings. You know, those of us that fly private, not me. It's big business, though. Big business. And folks that do fly private definitely still have the money to fly it no matter what the economy is doing here. So this one's interesting. You could definitely play this. 834. Going to be coming off halt. What's it halt? 933. So we still got about 2 minutes here. This would be one I'd try to pick up right around if it takes a drop to that 780 level right at VWAP here. Test VWAP and recover. Might do that. I'm going to see if I get a fill on that maybe. Let's take a look. Okay, sorry about that. I was trying to see if we get in there. So I just set my trade. We'll see what happens here as it comes off of halt. Let me add this to my watch list. Tick still slightly negative here, but QQQ up almost half a percentage point here. So we are moving to the upside here. Can see rejected right at the high of the day, trying to move. There you go, high of the day. Let's go. So let's see if we can get QQQ just to climb up on a nice little melt up today. Would be nice to see. Bitcoin did break above 97 here, so we are getting a little bit of a run. Okay. PayPal's what I was interested in here, maybe. It bounced nicely off the 50-day MA. I think I like PayPal here. A little bit more of a longer term play. Crypto continuing to run. Bitcoin rejected though at 97. We do see XRP back above 230 here. Solana, I talked about that yesterday when it was at 178. Nice little move up here, so. Not a heck going on. Let's see what's going on with pumpers. We are open. I did not get a fill and it took off. So it took right off there. 997, 990, right to that 10. So it did do exactly what I thought it would. Just didn't get filled. Did not get that downward spot that I was looking at there. Hopefully was thinking maybe off that stop it would go just below VWAP. It just took off. So nice move up by JTAI. If you did get in, congratulations. I did not. Never got a fill. Let me pull that out now. I don't want to catch a fill on the downside. That would be bad. That would be bad. So let me fix that here. Okay. Let's see if we got anything else here moving. I see halts are resetting here, so it means there's a new halt about to come out. So we aren't seeing seals is not holding its momentum from this morning earlier, so that one definitely moving back down. BAOS, so that's halted to the downside. Yeah, most of these halts are to the downside right now, so it looks like we're seeing a little bit of a sell-off here. Yeah, not seeing much. Not seeing much that excites me so far here today. QQQ now up almost 6/10 though, so we are seeing that nice grind. And again, it's being led by the Mag 7 and Tesla up 3.6%. So we are seeing a runner by Tesla here this morning. 446. Bitcoin back above 97, so we like to see that. MSTR having a nice little day up about 4.73, 4.8%, but we haven't been able to see it maintain that, so it's something to keep an eye on. Most of crypto positive here. Most of the miners are pretty positive here today, up about 8.36%. Do see a nice move up. The other good thing to see is we see IBIT and some of the others up even more than Bitcoin is so far. So it's showing there is some demand here for the ETF so far this morning as they're trying to play catch up. So that can be positive for us there. So we will keep an eye here, but that is in general a positive. IBIT's probably got room towards about 57 here. We can continue to get some momentum. So it is making a run. We'll see what we get here. Okay. See Broadcom losing a little bit of that momentum though so far this morning. A little bit of a sell-off there. Cisco is one I like here for sort of a short midterm pickup here at 77 for a ride back towards that 80 and then 82. Do like that a little bit. Let's see what Twitter has to say today. All the talk is mostly on Tesla. Makes sense the way it's ripping. JTAI stopped again here, man. Could give us a chance. Stopped on the way down, 843. Stopped almost exactly where it stopped last time. Looks like it's going to retrace back towards that VWAP here would be what I would keep an eye on. I see Barron spreading some FUD here. Says MicroStrategy wants ability to issue enough share to buy all the world's Bitcoin. Now, if this says, so before I even read this article, if it does say that he's trying to buy all of the newly created Bitcoin, in other words, the amount mined on a daily basis, then this article could be correct. So let's see. Michael Saylor, Grand Ambitions, approval to authorize amount of common shares would be enough. Well, the stock would get devalued though. Yeah, so it's mostly FUD. Just trying to say that he could issue enough stock at current prices that he could buy all of the Bitcoin. But as we know, that would be it's a lot easier said than done because the stock wouldn't hold its price, right? If he dilutes the stock almost 10 to 1, as I think it was, you could expect usually the stock price to be cut by 1/10. So, oh, the FUD is strong, and that was Barron's. That's a little disappointing. Interesting article from Market Watch here. Let's see. Buy this space stock. It's the pillar of long-term lunar infrastructure. LUNR. One of our favorites. It is a good one. They have 500% though year to date. That's what makes this one a tough one to follow. I was trying to see what their market cap, $2 billion. Take a look at their financials. They're still losing money, but that expected. Huh. Not a bunch there to tell me. Okay. Let's see what we got going on the pumpers here. There you go. Here's a pumper so far. BAOS. Oh, wrong chart. Hold on one second. Interesting one. Got room back to 652 here. Broke through VWAP. Can see these explosive moves, right, that you do get when these break back through VWAP once they've pumped earlier in the morning. CREV, another one about to do the same thing, so you could get on here. Jet AI we know about. Down now. There's another one getting ready to run LITM. There it goes. If it breaks the 6.6. There's one that I like because of the play under $1, trying to get to $1 here. Take it off the short-term chart. Let's put it on a longer-term chart. Let's see. Would have room to 120 on a run here. So this one on a run, I'd be looking to take my first profit right at $1. Second $1.20. So this is one that's definitely looking to run here. So I like this. LITM, Snow Lake Resource. Keep an eye here. Any break of that 68.11 here and it will run. I will say that this there is some pumpers that are looking to try to do something, so you do see that. Tick is negative 100 here. We're now seeing advanced decline at negative 138. So after being up over 1,000, we now see that dropping back down. Dow is slightly positive here on the day, almost even. SPY is still up 3/7 of a tenth. QQQ holding up at 6/10 up. Bitcoin holding up right at that 97,000 rate, so we like to see that. Amazon now up 1.42%, so seeing a move up. So now it seems like after the initial volatility here, it looks like we might start to see that little melt up for the day. Okay. I am going to sign off a little bit early here, everybody, to start getting ready for our holiday. I hope everyone has an amazing Christmas. I will be back Thursday morning here, bright and early at 9 a.m. for you with everything new to see if we get that Santa rally. So we'll see what we get here. Does look like Bitcoin wants to run here too. I'm not going to be surprised if we come back to Bitcoin up over 100K here on Thursday also. So everybody have a fantastic holiday, and I will see you all on